Hey everybody, welcome to the May Homebuyer Workshop. I am Nina Gervase, and with me is Patrick Roman, one of my fabulous preferred lenders. He and I partner on just about every deal. He is so phenomenal. And today we are here to talk to you about what is happening in the market. Everybody's always asking what is happening with rates, where are rates going? Let me tell you something. Patrick's great at a lot of things, but he's no fortune teller. Neither am I.
Right.
But we're going to dive into that. We're going to dive into a little bit about how we partner together to help a lot of people buy before they sell. We've talked about this in other episodes, and it is not a trend that's dying. It is a trend that is coming up more and more across many age brackets. And then the last thing that Patrick and I do is we are literally, oh, by the way, with that, we're even helping people across the country. So we're going to talk to you about that.
Yes.
And then, he and I even partner with a lot of first-time home buyers. So it's not just like the season buyer, the move-up buyer, that kind of thing. We have it all, and we are here today to tell you about that in our May Homebuyer Workshop. So, Patrick, thank you so much for being here today.
Anytime.
All right, first things, they always want to know, Patrick,
Rates.
where are the rates?
Where are
Where
the
are they
rates?
going? What's happening?
Yeah, I mean it's with everything happening in Iran, inflation is at almost a 3-year high. So rates have ticked up in the last couple of weeks, but overall they're still good, right? They're in the mid sixes, creeping up a little bit past that, but the 10-year bond is what long-term rates kind of go from. And the 10-year bond's at its highest point in like 2 years. So,
Mhm.
like we tell every single client we talk to, like we control what we can, right? And
Right.
we can't control rates. We're aware of it. We have a strategy for it. And there's just a lot of other features and incentives that we have that are offsetting clients. I think, frustrations with rates being a little bit high
All right,
right
I
now.
want to ask you two questions. First one is hearing that they're mid sixes, a little bit higher,
Right.
that's actually not something new. Okay.
Right.
So that's something that we came down from that. So, regardless of what's happening across the world, wars and other things, this is someplace that we've been at before.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
And we've been trending in this mid sixes, low sixes for almost a year and a half now. Now there were some pockets. There was like 3 or 4 times where rates dipped down
right.
closer to six, very short period of time. We're talking like a day or two, and that's the
People
influx.
locked
So
in, they were happy,
they were
right?
happy, yeah. So, but there's look, it's something we're always going to deal with. The new chairman got sworn in, so he's going to start probably in June. So I think people are just, you know, our clients are taking advantage of the buying opportunities now, understanding, and we strategize for it. This
Oh,
is
yeah, we
by
do.
no means going to be a loan that they're going to have long term, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4 years. So we're mindful of that when we're putting
Right.
together our strategy on the buy side, right?
So then tell us some of the strategies that you have that we
Mhm.
can kind of like chat about because those people who listen, they're going to buy regardless of where the rates
Right,
are. They
right,
understand refinance later. This might be something we're holding for a little bit.
right.
So in the meantime, if there are some strategies that we can offer to buyers, what is it?
Yeah. So number one, a lot of the investor that we use. So the 1.0 buy down, which is fantastic. That's just normally something that we have to negotiate as a seller paid concession. Now until the end of June, it's completely free. So if you have a 6.5% today, it's 5.5% for the first 12 months. Great way to hedge the market, much lower payment for the first 12 months, completely fixed rate, completely free. Then we just revisit what's going on in the market
In
nine,
a
ten
year.
months leading up to it. Right.
Right.
So
So
this, so
everybody needs to hear that then. So
yeah,
whatever the rate is at right now, the 1.0 buy down is 6.5 can bring you down to 5.5 for your first 12 months. That's
correct.
what a 1.0 buy down
Yeah.
is.
And the best part is like normally someone has to pay for it. In this case, no one pays for it. So it's
All
just
right.
completely free for them. So that's great. Number two is how we negotiate seller paid concession, right? Mindful of if you're not going to have the loan long term, we want to keep costs extremely low, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing that with lender credits that I can pay for. We're doing that with how we're negotiating seller paid concessions to pay for their costs. So a lot of times, our clients are kind of walking into the house, not having a payment for 30, 45 days, their break even point is essentially nothing. So we're already looking for first refinance opportunities in 5, 6 months from now.
And
And
you
we
know,
track all
Patrick,
that. Yeah.
I just did a reel all about like 3 ways to find the house that you can negotiate on. Okay. So, number one
Yes.
being
Yeah.
that the house has had many days on market, in many cases, 2 weeks or more, depending on the location, right?
Mhm.
Number two, the seller has already reduced the price. They're already willing to tell you that they're willing to take lower than
Right.
what they started at. And
Right.
number three, if the house is vacant, hello, are they carrying two mortgages? Are they carrying rent and mortgage? Like that's a big financial burden. So if you look for those three things, they're ripe for a negotiation. Now, a
Yes.
lot of buyers think, hey, I'm going to go down and negotiate the price. What Patrick and I are telling you right now is that's not always the best interest for you. In
Right.
other words, it might be better off for Patrick to come in, evaluate the situation, and say, no, let's ask for seller paid closing costs to offset buying down the rate, paying off some of your closing costs, etc. So don't, as buyers, please hear me say this. We're looking for the houses we can negotiate on because it's not going to work on all of them.
Right.
And then when we go to do so, Patrick is going to evaluate the whole picture and say, let's go in and do this strategy to get seller paid concessions to help you with that rate and
Yes.
so forth.
And we do that. And that's, I think, why our process is so great because we work as a team. Like the
Oh, yeah.
client, you, me, every house that they want to make an offer on, it's exactly what you said. How long's it been on the market? What's the strategy? Do we have to do a 12-day close? Are we asking for concessions? And then I'm giving very, very finite numbers to the client before they're writing the contract. So everyone's 100% clear on what the strategy is.
Oh, so
Um,
important. I
yeah,
mean, when they have the whole picture,
the whole
Patrick,
picture. Yes.
they are more confident moving forward with that and getting out of the mentality of, oh, I just want to knock it down 10, 20,000.
Yeah,
Like,
because the impact, like how $10,000 on a $400,000 loan, like it's a minuscule benefit from a price standpoint to the client compared to actual $1,000 that they're not bringing in from cash to close. So
guys, so
it's just
important for you to hear this.
yeah, it's providing the clarity, and then the I think the third point is why that's important is because on the no so we do no cost rate reduction loans for all your clients. And we do that because we know the strategy is going to be at some point we're going to be taking advantage of the dip in the market. I track that. I communicate with them. We're already running mock numbers about what that refinance would look like from how much they're going to save. We bring it back to the same investor. You don't have to get the house appraised. I take
Right.
care of all the costs from the lender side. So it's just another, I think, feature that we add, knowing that, hey, this is the strategy to get the house. This is the long-term strategy of how
Right.
can we pay off the house as fast as we can. And,
Absolutely.
and that's
And
why it
and
works so well.
so that brings us into the next category that I really want to chat with you about because everybody was asking, what about rates? What about rates? How do we
Mm-hmm.
get them down? You know, like where they go in this sort of thing. People, we've already said it. We've been here before. This mid sixes, mid to high sixes.
Yeah.
We've done it regardless of what's happening across the world. How we strategize with you to try and buy that down and try and get you to a comfortable place, at least even for 12 months. That's going to be a discussion that we have on each and every house. It could be a different strategy. But
Right.
now we also have, you and I do tons from across the country, people. We're talking California, we're talking from up north, from everywhere. We have had the situation where people want to buy a home before they are able to sell their home, right? So a lot of people are just in that mindset of I just can't buy until I sell. And then you know, like you might be missing out on fabulous houses here
Well,
in our area
yeah,
that go quickly, competitive market situations if you wait too long or if your house is just even not even ready to get on the market. I'll tell you, Patrick,
exactly.
two of the people that we have partnered with recently, this is what cracks me up. They didn't expect to find a house as quickly as they
That they
did,
did.
right?
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
they find the house and they weren't necessarily even ready to put their other house on the market, or they were almost there, whatever the case may be. The best part about this is once they partner with us and they hear that they can move forward on the house they
Yeah.
want, and then they do, they're like, oh shit, now I got to get my house ready
Now
real
we're,
quick.
well,
And
yeah,
they
and
get it
that's
ready
just,
in like 2 weeks.
and it's the most control. So I think it's can be overwhelming if they don't know. And
Yeah,
that's why, like,
absolutely.
I take a lot of time with those clients on the front end because there's a lot to go over. This isn't just like, okay, like, you're just going to write a loan, but this is evaluating their house they're going to sell. We work together on the listing
Yep.
and the kind of incentives and what they're going to net. It's the buy side. And more importantly, it's how the money is going to move.
Hmm.
And that's really um, like the fabric of the strategy, but that's also their main concern, right? Because they think they can't do it, but we have three main products where it's just like a true bridge loan where there's some restrictions on how much equity you have to have in your current house, but I mean that product's fantastic where clients don't have to come in with any money and they're just essentially, you have a listing agreement on the house you want to sell. You've already identified the house under contract that we can close in 10 days if we need to. And then it's just basically swapped over and they have like a 60-90 day period where they can just take the money and pay off the loans. So fantastic. I
Yep.
think the second main thing is the control of no one wants to move twice or three times. Like it's just a disaster. So I think the people that see the process through, additional strategy with us on lining up the timing works really well. So they only have to move once,
Exactly.
and then from the listing, it's giving them the best opportunity to get the house to where it needs to be to get the best price for it. And you can't do that.
Absolutely.
You can't do that if you live in a house, really. Like
So
you
one
can't. It's
other
very
thing
hard.
that I want these buyers to hear, because many of them are also sellers, right?
Mhm.
Is
Correct.
when we're talking about this strategy, we're not just talking about, as I already mentioned, people who are in this state. Patrick is licensed in other states. So he can also offer incentives when you're selling your house, for example.
Mhm. Correct.
So
Yep.
one of the things that Patrick and I do is we evaluate each home and he's able, I'm not going to tell everybody what all the perks are that you
I know,
offer.
right? A
Like,
lot of perks.
hello, this is a little bit of a secret. If you want to know, you gotta buy and list with us. But the point is there are ways that Patrick can make your house more appealing to a buyer and make it easier for them to offer on your home. So, yeah, he's helping you on both fronts. He's
Both
helping
sides.
you negotiate this house that you're purchasing and making your home more appealing to the buyer coming in. And I can't even tell you how many people, like when they come into the house and I show them a flyer that I have with what Patrick is able to offer to this buyer, they're like, oh, wow. Okay, wait, let me take a picture of this. Let me call Patrick. And that's exactly how the ball starts rolling.
Really well.
So you are a buyer, but you may also be a seller. And this is how this is
Different
going to
sides of the coin.
benefit you. Both buying before you're selling. Patrick has three products he already told you that we can look at to help you with that. I say we, but it's not me, it's Patrick. I'm not getting involved on your loan
Well,
side.
and
I want
and
everybody to know that.
from the sales side too, and I think the lot of some of the fears are my house isn't going to sell.
Yeah.
Another concern we hear a lot is I don't want to have two mortgage payments. My house doesn't sell. And look, and it's all just common fears that they have. Once we go
Everybody
through
has
the
them.
process, everyone has them. But once we go through the process and line up the strategy, um, it's and I explain it from a very conservative standpoint with them as far as like the numbers go,
Hmm.
just
That's
so yeah, just so
that's
they know,
something
look,
important.
yeah, this is worst case scenario from a timing standpoint. But when we get to do the listing, what to hit on what you just said, like the results speak for themselves. Like it's the strategy that we have with the listing attracting the most eyes from the start, and it's attracting the most eyes to the buyers that has an impact for them to make a buying decision on buying
Yes.
their house. For
Yes.
example, like a $5,000 price reduction means nothing to a buyer, right? Like that's not going to make a buyer change his mind and buy the house because the price is 5 or 10 grand less. Adding these incentives that we can do with covering closing costs and not having an appraisal and
Shh,
doing
shh, shh, shh.
doing the
Don't
1-0
give them
buy
all.
down, right? Like that's a buying decision that someone's gonna be like,
Yeah.
wow, now now this is affordable. Maybe it wasn't, or maybe my cash to close was light, and now I don't have to bring in all the money.
Right.
So, it's great for the buyer and it's great for our client who is listening because now we're lining up the timing when they want to take that money and the equity and either pay off the house cash, which we have clients that do that. We have clients that just need to move the equity so they can lower their payment on the purchase. So it's just it I don't know. It's exciting. I love
It
working with those
is.
clients. And then when the timing lines up and they're just like, I didn't know that, it could be done. And I didn't think whatever, right?
They just don't even believe that it can
They
be
don't
done.
believe it can be done. Yeah.
Well, one of the things Patrick said that I want to really stress, Patrick and I are both realists. Okay. So we are more on the conservative side with numbers. We're going to tell you worst case scenarios. We're not going to fluff things for you. Okay. We're
Yeah.
not painting a pretty picture with fluffy white clouds. What's that artist's name? Oh my God. I can't believe I can't. Bob, whatever his name
Bob
is, right?
Ross.
Bob Ross. We're not going to be him. We're going to paint a realistic picture for you. And the
Yes.
reason for this is because you need to, and we need to know how realistic your home is for selling, right? So if you're in our area, I'm pulling tons of data to look at it and say, okay, it might take you this amount of days, or this is the competition, this is what we see people list at. And Patrick will work with the agent in your area if you're across the
The same
country
thing.
for
Yep.
that as well, right? So
Yeah.
again, this is a buyer webinar, but understand that so many of our buyers are also sellers and they
Sellers.
need to
Exactly.
comprehend that as well.
Yeah.
That's
And it's the full strategy. It's not just working with a team that is experienced and knows the market and has ability to do this stuff because like we've had a couple clients where yeah, like list prices and price is important, but sometimes timing is more important.
Yeah, it is.
And sometimes they're like, hey, I need it sold by this date. It's a fair price, but they're more concerned with taking that money and paying off, say, the loan on a new house because they got such a good deal on the buy side.
Yeah.
So
Well,
sometimes,
yeah. And the other thing that
sometimes that's
timing and
important too.
experience comes in for that you and I have done, just it's y'all, I am like blown away. How many of these millennials and first time home buyers, and they're not always millennials,
Mhm.
are buying houses in the 700,000 plus range.
I know.
Y'all, this is just like, what? Okay.
It's nuts.
But I say this because when you are a first time home buyer, you're looking for even more guidance. Okay, so Patrick had a little bit of technical difficulties. So I'm just going to pick it up where I left off when I realized, hello, he was frozen. So when we talk about our first-time home buyers, we're not always just talking about millennials. I have a first-time home buyer in his 70s right now. It can be anybody. And the important thing is that you have two people on your side who are very experienced and are very conservative with their approach to the buying process. That means we're protecting you all over the place. We have especially certain of our younger ones whose parents really want to get involved, as I was saying before, and they want to know what the rates are. They want to know where the house is. They want to have all the details, right? And I welcome all the questions. It's definitely something that I want to know I'm doing the right thing for their children. So, of course, I don't mind them asking questions as well. It doesn't always happen, but when it does, I welcome it. Now, they are, just as concerned about you getting a good rate as they are getting a good home as a first time home buyer, that you're not buying the money pit. And we're going, as I said in many other videos, to be looking at the entire house from top to bottom, literally going in the attic, going in the crawl space, and everything in between. And yes, I will crawl in that crawl space. And yes, I don't care if there are cobwebs there, we're going in. So when Patrick and I partner on these types of things, you may still have an apartment who you have like, I don't know, 3 months left on the lease. And we can try to see if, again, we can get seller paid closing costs that will help offset some of your closing costs. So you still have money left for that, lease going forward, 3 months, whatever the case may be. We are really looking at a holistic picture of everything that will make the most difference for you as a first time home buyer. So, With all of that said, we covered quite a bit today, from rates to buy before you sell to first-time home buyers. We didn't get to do too much of that, so I apologize. But ping me and Patrick, and we will be happy to walk you through the process. Until next month, when we bring you the June Homebuyer Workshop, please feel free to send us your questions. Be sure to like and subscribe and send this to anybody who is thinking about a move to our area. And we thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.